With that taken care of, we now move on to the next section, quickfire reviews. This section is where the two of us review everything else we've read, watched or played, but within the maximum time limit of 60 seconds. Set up the timer. Alright, Sven, you start first.
I have gone and taken the time to dig up Might and Magic 6 and 8. Both entries into what was basically the series that got me into RPGs and fantasy in the first place. They are just as good as I remember them, and frankly, just as hard in the beginning as I remember them.
Yeah, that seems to be the way of RPGs. Speaking of which...
Tales of the Abyss 3DS. Pretty good, but then again, I'll say that about all Tales games because I'm a fanboy. I am still enjoying it so far, even if the story does rely a bit on magic babble. The only other minor criticism I can make of it is, I do kind of wish that, seeing as how Namco always put a lot of ridiculous extra content in when it ports any other Tales game onto, say, a PlayStation console, it would have been nice if they had added something to this version of Tales of the Abyss rather than the 3D, but oh well, I won't hold that against this game.
I'll just hold it against Namco for the rest of my life.
Wow, disproportionate retribution much.
Possibly, yes. But either way, good game.
Mario and Sonic at the 2012 London Olympic Games. It's not just a game with a ridiculously long title. It's also pretty fun. There's a wide variety of sports and the controls have been simplified, so it's a lot of fun to play. My only gripe is that some features that were pretty good in the Winter Olympics, they took out for some reason. For example, they don't have Olympics Festival mode, so there's no strong single-player campaign. There's only London Party mode, which is kind of a Mario Party-style minigame festive, so you're walking around London, which is fun and all, but, well, it would be nice to have a single-player mode, and it kind of gets repetitive. But apart from that, good game all around and pretty enjoyable.
On the movie front,
I finally watched the nerd classic Star Trek II Wrath of Khan. Pretty good movie. I'm not quite sure I'd rate it as highly as some people do. Maybe that's because I've been spoiled on almost every single aspect of it before I watched it, but still, overall, pretty good movie.
Star Trek. Never thought that would come up in this series.
yeah, I'm more of a casual Star Trek fan. I never actually watched that much of it, but...
And this also gives me an excuse to say, Khan!
Figures.
I actually don't hear that as much as other people do, so I'm not actually killed on the joke.
Yeah, the only time I've got bored of that joke is when people use it in connection to Mortal Kombat. I get it, the villain has Khan in his name, it's not that funny. And the last thing I want to cover...
Manga! Naruto is surprisingly getting good again with more exploration on the tailed beast and actually some pretty decent action. Bleach, continuing on its downward spiral into the mediocre, the uninteresting, and quite frankly confusing. That is all.
Actually, I wouldn't quite say that it's going downhill. I think it's already gone downhill and is now just lingering at the bottom of a very boring valley.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good metaphor. It's either that or it's just plummeting straight down rather than...
But, hey, at least the good news is, Kubo is apparently taking 3 weeks off to start a new arc, so praise the friggin' Lord.
Yeah, hopefully he'll recover and just have a good idea and not screw it up.
Well, I certainly hope so, because he said that there was going to be 2 arcs after Aizen, so this is the finale, pretty much.
Well, here's hoping for a satisfying conclusion, or at least just a conclusion.
Yeah, it's that manga syndrome again, going on too long syndrome. Hi, One Piece. Yeah. We haven't met for a while.
Oh dear. Let's see, we've pissed off Skyrim fans, we've pissed off Legend of Zelda fans.
And I have just obligatorily pissed off the One Piece fan base again.
Yeah, oh jeez, I'm gonna need to install some shields up here.
Bulletproof windows, man.
Oh jeez, I've had to develop force field technology just to keep it. Oh dear. But anyway, that's all the review and taking care, so it's now on to a new section.
News Spotlight!
Okay, yeah, this would normally be the discussion section, but we decided to spice things up with something new. And the section is pretty simple enough. This is where me and Sven talk about media/nerd related news stories that have caught our eye in the past month and give our own thoughts on the matter. Alright, 2 quick announcements I want to get right off the bat because I have so little to say about them. First off, people have been asking me about the news that Tales Studio is now being absorbed by Namco. I wouldn't panic too much about it. No one's saying anything about cancelling the Tales of series. It basically just means that it won't exist as its own studio anymore. It now exists as part of Namco rather than a separate studio funded by Namco, if that makes any sense.
Well, I don't really see the difference, because if they're already relying on Namco to fund everything they do, they're already pretty much an extension of Namco.
Yeah, so it's a change. I'm not sure if it will be that big of a change. There are still Tales games that have been announced that are going to come out eventually, but...
Yeah, so it was just pretty much making it official.
Yeah, pretty much. The second announcement is that a teaser trailer has been released a couple of weeks back for Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 2. And unfortunately, I must report on behalf of Nintendo fans that this version is exclusive for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and I think Steam. I'll have to double check, but no mention of Nintendo consoles. So yeah, we won't get it. I don't quite know how to express it in words. Although, I think the words I can best use to describe this are words from a song that became popular in Britain for a time, and those words are woohoo, 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 woohoo.
Oh my god, the Vonage song, I hear that every time I turn on the T-Free. The T-Free?
Oh jeez, I broke Sven's mind, ladies and gentlemen.
Because you brought the Vonage song out of nowhere, I wasn't expecting that.
Oh jeez, that became inexplicably popular in Britain for a time, and
my god,
believe it or not,
it's become a meme.
Oh jeez, well, actually, the funniest thing was it was our national song for one Soccer World Cup.
Oh my god, that's just depressing. That song is one of my least favorite on American television ads.
Oh dear. But yeah.
But I grant it fits.
Yeah, the basic point is, I'm kind of happy because some of you may remember that I thought Sonic 4 Episode 1 was a mediocre mess of a nostalgia grab, and I actually said, quoting that, when Episode 2 came out, I would only buy it after watching a walkthrough of it, and now I don't have to buy it because it's nowhere near. I'm sorry, this may seem a bit harsh, but let me just explain something here. I did not like Episode 1 when it was first released. As I said, it was a great big pile of meh. And over time, I've really grown to dislike it even more because it just seems like a pathetic nostalgia grab with no substance to it at all. And to be honest, the teaser trailer itself for Episode 2 has not helped. Again, no bloody footage of gameplay, it's just, you can play as Tails, and Metal Sonic is back as the villain, which, A, most of us already knew that was gonna happen anyway, and B, who gives a flying shit? I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but Tails has been playable in many games up to this point. Why it's supposed to be a big fanfare that he's playable now is anyone's guess. And Metal Sonic, well, we've pissed off one fanbase today, so I may as well piss off another. Metal Sonic is possibly the most overrated character I've ever seen.
Next to Shadow. Did I just go there?
I would say even more so than Shadow, because
holy shit.
At least with Shadow, there's some basis for liking his character. I mean, you like his personality, or you like the fact that he's one of the darker characters, or you like his powers. Metal Sonic, again, is just an emotionless robot. He has no personality. He's kind of like Boba Fett that people squee over, despite the fact he does bugger all in the franchise.
So he's kind of like the overrated version of Fee.
Pretty much, except that with the difference that there's a large fan base demanding that he should keep coming back, and I don't know why. You know, it's just...
Must be the design then, because that's the only thing he has. Literally,
yeah,
that is all he is. He's a design.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only way I can describe Metal Sonic. He's just a design. I mean, in his first game, the only major thing he did was have one boss battle with Sonic, which was a race, and that sounds cool in theory, but it was just an absolute mess in gameplay. But best part, he was killed by a door.
What?
Basically, to defeat him, you have to cross the finish line first, and then when you do cross the finish line, a door slams into his face, and the dying animation occurs straight afterwards.
Oh God. The series Ensemble Dark Horse is killed by architecture.
That's pretty much the way to sum it up, so with that base pissed off.
Jesus, man.
we're ranking through them today.
Skyrim, probably some Zelda fans, One Piece, because I cannot go a monkey broadcast without pissing off One Piece fans in some way or another.
And of course Bleach, let's not forget that.
Yeah, although strangely, somehow you avoided sending the Naruto fanbase into a pitch fit because, hey, I kinda complimented the series for once.
Yeah.
Although God knows it's going to go downhill again from here. There, I did it for you!
Oh jeez, that row of torches is getting bigger and bigger.
It's like we've suddenly started emulating Yahtzee, just piss off everyone we possibly can.
Yeah. So that's the two announcements I wanted to cover, and before we move on to Sven's story, this is kind of a really, really old announcement, but it's something I've not had the chance to talk about for a while, so a strange couple of events happened a while back. First off, there was a Facebook page, it's been closed down ever since, but by a guy who claims he used to work at Rareware. And so we got some behind the secrets out of that, like some answers to particular questions like what happened to this beta version, what was going to happen in this section, and how much did you have to cut from this game, etc. And on top of that, another former Rareware employee, who goes by the YouTube moniker of Transparent Jinjo, has been releasing footage of Rareware betas, such as, for those who don't know, amongst one of the many Donkey Kong games that was going to be made by Nintendo but scrapped and had to be made into something else was Diddy Kong Pilot, a Game Boy Advance sequel of, well, Diddy Kong Racing. That game was eventually remade into Banjo Pilot, which basically disappeared into obscurity, but but we now see beta versions of we're now seeing various beta versions of it back when it was Diddy Kong back when it was Diddy Kong Pilot, and it's pretty interesting in some cases. I recommend having a look for it if you can find it on YouTube, because it's kind of an interesting inkling of which direction they were planning to take the Donkey Kong Country franchise in, and it kind of supports my theory that not only was it getting a bit more cartoonish, but it's also some people okay, I'm differentiating from the fan base yet again, but some people are saying, oh, it's good to hear the old voice actors from Donkey Kong 64 back again, but I personally believe it kind of proves my theory that in certain contexts the voices really wouldn't fit. Okay, to basically give one example, Donkey Kong's ridiculously deep voice provided by Cran Kirkhope saying, I kid you not, weed.
Oh god.
He's basically flying for a boost and it's supposed to sound happy, but of course, when you have a voice as deep as that, it doesn't come off that well.
I'm about to make an idiot out of myself. Wee.
That's exactly it, yeah. It also doesn't help that Diddy sounds more and more like Minnie Mouse of every line he says. I'm a winner! Even so, it's still pretty interesting, but the biggest revelation and the announcement I wanted to talk about is that one person actually said in the comments to one of these videos, oh, it'd be cool to see another Donkey Kong Country game, and they responded, we were actually proposed making a Donkey Kong Country 4 for the DS, but they shot it down in favour for Diddy Kong Racing port.
What?
Yeah, this has got people really curious.
So, they shot down a continuation of one of their greatest franchises ever in favor of a port of a racing game that has pretty much disappeared into obscurity.
Pretty much, yeah.
I say this again. What?